introduction of city staff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No
I
problem.
missed that. Okay, I would like to introduce all the people of the city staff. If you'd be kind enough to please stand up, give them your name and your position and what you do for the city, please.
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official. John Cecil, Demo Inspector.
Okay.
Good morning, Robert Bagger, City Attorney.
All right. Anyone else there? All right. Thank you for your introductions, and we'll proceed on. Okay. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Oliver?
Here.
Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
We have a quorum, so we will proceed with the meeting. If there are any additions or corrections on the minutes that you have read, staff, board members?
No.
Will someone please make a motion to accept them, please?
I move to accept the minutes. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes.
Let's include in the motion of October 16th, 2018.
Oh, okay, thank you. And all those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Any against it? Hearing none, we will accept the minutes as presented. If you are from the audience, if you want to talk to the board today, there is a green form that is right over there. Please complete it and turn it in to the secretary so that you can talk about your particular case. Any other questions or from the audience or anything? Thank you. We'll go to item A.
Before we do that, let's go.
Item A, Secretary.
Case A, BP 2018-022, 520 South Martin Luther King Boulevard. Appeal for notice of condemnation and demolition order.
Mr. Cito, can you swear in the witnesses? Would it be appropriate to swear in the witnesses?
Yeah, I'm going to do that in a second. Which witnesses do we have? Who do we have? Anybody, let's do that. Anybody that's going to be speaking on any of the cases, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Everybody,
Okay.
other attorneys. Could you spare, anybody going to speak on any of the cases, could you stand and raise your right hand? Good. Okay. Madam Secretary, I'll swear, man. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you give this morning will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Everybody's been duly sworn, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you.
So as indicated, the first case is 520 South Martin Luther King Boulevard. The owner is Nifra Consulting and Investment Group, LLC. With the board's permission, I've requested we submit the testimony of Mr. Cecil, the Neighborhood Services Building Rehabilitation Inspector, followed by Glenn Urquhart, the building official. Following that, of course, the property owner or other interested parties have a right to speak.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My name is Mr. Harvin.
Your address, please.
The address of the property is 520 South Martin Luther King Boulevard. And what I just basically wanted to say was we're in the process of trying to preserve the property and need more time to secure the funds that's needed to preserve the property. It was a new acquired property. And
Excuse me, we can't hear what you're saying. Could you turn that up a little bit, please? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Could you start again, please?
okay, again, were you able to hear my name?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. The property again is 520 Martin Luther King Boulevard. What we had just basically wanted to do is preserve the property. It was a newly acquired property, and the purpose of the property was to build it up and preserve it. It's been around since 1920, and we wanted to go ahead and preserve the property. But being there's a rush time frame on it, we need more time to get the funds needed to go ahead and secure the property. And we feel as though it's not fair to have a newly acquired property and properties in that area are being forced to come up with funds at an extreme rate to be fixed. If we had known that, we wouldn't have acquired the property. So basically, we're just requesting more time to secure the funds that's needed to go ahead and complete the project.
No. Are you his attorney maybe?
No, I'm the city attorney. And we have witnesses and testimony sent on the case to explain the condition of the property and give some history to it.
Yes, if there he has anybody else who wants to testify.
Anyone else that want to make a comment on this case? Okay. Moving on.
Go ahead and sit down, and people will come up for rebuttal later.
Yeah,
I'll give you another opportunity.
thank you.
City's case.
The city would like to, will you present your case, please?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to call Mr. John Cecil. Mr. Cecil, would you tell the board your name and your position?
John Cecil, Rehabilitation Inspector, Demolition.
How long have you been employed by the city?
Since March of last year.
What do your duties include as the rehabilitation inspector?
I go out and I do inspection of the property, look to see if there's any neglect, abandonment of the property, property that is not being cared for, fire structures, and et cetera, like that.
In the course of your duties, have you become familiar with 520 South Martin Luther King Boulevard?
Yes, I have.
All right, how did you first become aware of this property?
There was a complaint for nuisance at that location. People were hanging out at that property. There's been multiple calls from the police department at that location, so that's what triggered me to go out to that property.
And approximately when was that?
That would have been, I'm going to say it was in July. I would have to look at my papers for sure.
How did you grab your phone?
That would have been in May.
May of 2018.
Yes.
Have you conducted inspections out at the site?
Yes, I have.
How many inspections approximately?
Approximately, that's on a normal route, but generally inspections on that property approximately 12 to 14, but I'm by that property pretty much every day.
When was the last time you were out there?
This morning.
All right, have you taken pictures of the conditions at the site?
Yes, I have.
And are these part of our presentation today? Do you have those?
Yes, I
lined
do.
up?
Okay, first I'll show a picture here is a picture of the posting of the property.
Does it show any particular violations?
On this photo right here, it does not. What I'm showing you there is the posting that is on the front of the building is what I'm showing you with this photo.
All right. And this is a posting the site is condemned, is that correct?
That's correct. This is another posting. It's just a closer shot of the notice of condemnation and the posting of the hearing for this location. This is the front part of the building. This is a street view. As you can see at the top of the roof there, it's missing its fascia across. It's falling down.
Is that a safety hazard?
Yes, it is. As you can see, there's a sidewalk there. Let me go back here. There's a sidewalk there, and things are falling down onto the sidewalk. As you can see, this is a different shot angle of it. The roof there, where the fascia and the soffit there is falling down in the front of the building. Now, later in the picture there, if you're looking back the street there, those boards are actually missing off the roof.
Are there other issues which may result in having missing fascia?
Yes, it looks like there's water damage around, like where the windows are. There'd be another picture there. You can see that there's damage from wood rot that is around the windows also. That's another posting of it being reposted. This is part of the rear of the property. That's one of the shed, or the shed that is in the back there. And this is where it was housing some of the homeless that were going in and out of the property at the time.
What evidence did you have of vagrants?
There is paper cups, there's food boxes, there's beer cans, there's clothing. You can tell there was like sleeping, I'm going to say it's like sleeping bags, but they were blankets all rolled up, was there.
Those were inside that shed?
They were on the outside and on the inside of the shed. And then that's where, with PD at that location, that's, how to describe it, is the homeless were actually in the back of the property. And if you go, there'll be another picture here. This is another shot of it. They actually go around that shed, and then there's like a little corner in the back there is where they were harboring.
I see a number of other issues here, I presume. Can you tell the board about that?
Yes, this is overgrowth. As you can see, there's overgrowth going up to the roof, and then actually it's probably, as you can see, it's pooling down on the roof where it's damaged and the water damaged. And with that roof being damaged, that's water getting into the building. Here's another shot of it.
Is there any collapse evident here?
Of the roof, there is. If you can see, the trusses are actually collapsing on the ends. It's on the overhang, and then there'll be another picture showing that there are two 2x4s. It looks like that they were placed on the inside that were trying to hold up that upper floor. There's another view of it. There's another street view, and as you can see it on the top of the building there, the rolled roofing that was placed on there, everything's being pulled back from the storms that we had. They've been like that, and nothing has changed on the property. It's just another view. Same there. As you can see, the roof damage on the top, it's all being peeled back. Here, that's a close-up view of the overhang. As you can see, there's missing boards that go up through on the left side and holes in the roof. There's another view of it. Here's another rear view. You can see the siding's damaged there on the right-hand side, which is all the way around on the back part of the structure. And you can see the roof there and the damage, and the rolled roofing on the top there. It's all peeled off still. That's just another view. It's kind of hard to see on the bottom part of this picture in there where it's dark, but there's two newer 2x4s that are pushed up that looks like it's holding that floor on the inside there.
This is shown in this picture here, you can see that?
Right, well, the laser doesn't work, but right here on the, there's a little area, there's a dark area, and it has a little bit lighter right there. Those are new 2x4s that look like they were put up in there. One on this side and one on that side. I'm taking the picture from the street. That's the view that I can see with the camera that I took with the iPad.
And how did it appear to you that they were installed? Was it braces or other?
No, it just looks like it was just wedged up in there. It doesn't look like I didn't see any braces or anything like that.
And that would be the foundation for the entire upper floor?
That would be on the rear of the building, yes. The upper floor.
Is that a structural issue which causes a health safety problem?
Yes, it does. Because if it would collapse, like I said, there is the sidewalk that's there, and things are falling off. So anytime someone walking by, someone could get hit with fallen debris. And here, this is along the street there. You can see once the wind comes, it blows off the boards and they fall to the ground. Here's the soffit that just shows you that it is actually dropping. You can see along the window sills how they're all rotted out along the window sills and the fascia, and again the soffit that it is falling. There's another picture of the other side of it. That's showing window rot on the other window over there on the left-hand side. There's another view. And these pictures were all taken at different times. So you can see if you look at this one, how it's actually fallen a little bit more than what it was from the very first pictures that I showed you. If you notice, the weeds were actually, it wasn't hanging down as far.
Does this photo accurately depict the way it was on your last site visit?
Yes.
Is there electricity in this site? Water? Do we have any sort of utilities out there?
Well, I got to look back on my notes, but I do not believe that there is electricity to this building.
What is this showing right there?
This here?
Does that show any sort of water intrusion?
That is showing of the boards. Why I took that picture was the boards were actually falling, and it just, once it gets wet and the rain hits on it, it makes those loose boards heavy, and then they just deteriorate and they're falling from there. There's another side view. That just shows up underneath of the rotting wood.
Does the site appear to be abandoned due to lack of maintenance?
Yes, it does look like it's abandoned. I've spoke with the owner of the property. They have went out and picked up some of the trash that was around the property because the place, there was a ton of trash that was also at the property, and there hasn't been no activity at that property. And that shows the roof right there. That must be the last one there.
And once you do your inspections, what do you do with that information? Do you make out a report? Just tell us the process.
Yes, I put it into our system, which is called Track It. I'll go and then I pull out the codes. I will put them in as violations of the structure in our Track It system, and then we will do the paperwork and post the property and notify the owner at the same time.
Who do you report to? Who's your supervisor?
Supervisor is Glenn Urquhart, building official.
All right, and is it Mr. Urquhart that issues the condemnation and demolition order?
Yes, it is.
Very good. I have no further questions. The property owner may ask some.
See, the property owner has any questions of Mr. Cecil or anybody on the board? Any questions of Mr. Cecil?
This is your opportunity to ask questions of this.
Come on up, John. You're not done. See if anybody has any of the board have any questions of Mr. Cecil.
How long you been tracking this?
Since May of last year.
Since May?
Yes.
And nothing's been done on it?
The only cleanup that I had spoken to him with is the trash litter and debris that was around the property, but nothing to the building.
Oh, okay.
And may we hear from you, please?
Okay, we do have, so you guys have one more witness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But he's welcome to ask questions.
Yeah, any questions? If you have.
Any questions of the city employee? From anyone? We'll move on.
I'll apologize. And then you'll speak.
Do you have any questions of Mr. Cecil? You're going to get an opportunity for the end to present a case. Any questions of Mr. Cecil? Now.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
She didn't acknowledge me.
No, we're acknowledging you now.
We're acknowledging you.
Gotcha.
Come on
Go
up.
ahead, come on.
I just don't want to just go through the motions if it just seems like everything's already predetermined, and I don't have a say here.
This board's first time this board has heard the cases today. Nothing is predetermined.
Oh, okay. I was going to just ask Mr. Cecil, because based on your testimony, you had indicated that there was people staying in the back, along with clothes, baggage, and a lot of, from the sound of it, was a lot of things back there to indicate that there was people staying in the backyard. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Based on the pictures that you showed, I didn't see any depiction of what you described in detail.
I was given that for information. I went to the property. When I take pictures of the structures. I'm not there for the homeless or the cleanup of the property or junk, litter, and debris. That would be a code enforcement issue. I was just saying, when I went out to the property to look at the structure to see if it's been neglected and abandoned, that was also on the site at the time.
Okay.
Okay, but you don't have any pictures, so basically this is hearsay from somebody else that there were items down there, because you don't have any pictures of that you showed. Is that correct?
I do not have no pictures in this PowerPoint, but we can pull up, there's been police activity, out there at that location because of that. I was there this morning, and I can tell you on the gate on this side, he did try to attempt to close it and put a black mesh across it. The gate was open also. They are going in and out of that property. I can testify to that.
Also, one of the pictures that you had showed illustrated showed the backyard and from different angles. And I noticed the picture that you had took from, you said all the pictures were from this morning. Is that correct?
No. All the pictures were not from this morning. They were from the time that when I first went out to the property. Today, I went by the locations. No pictures were taken today. I'm testifying that everything is exactly the same as it was through various times of pictures that were taken from last May.
Okay.
Okay. The only reason why I was asking that is because the city attorney had asked you probably like 3 minutes into your testimony if the pictures were accurate and current, and when was the last time you went out there for the photos. So, are you saying now that some of the photos were from today and some were from another time?
I believe that the city attorney asked me when was the last time I visited the property. Today, I went by the properties, all the properties today. The photos are taken numerous times throughout my inspections of the property.
The reason why I was asking because one of the pictures that you had showed, it illustrated the backyard in which the gate was up. It's a barbed wire gate that was in the backyard. And your evidence that you had brought illustrated that the backyard did in fact have the gate up. And you were saying that there was people living in the back, which I don't have any evidence that anyone was staying back there, because everything that you're saying, as far as the baggage, the clothes, and all that, we never saw that. But we did see the gate being up, and as soon as it was down, we had someone to go out and put it back up, and it still should be up to this day. Was by there this morning. I was by there yesterday. The gate that wasn't up, it's been up and down numerous times. Whoever's going in and out, they're pushing it open, and it's open 2 to 3 foot. And what they try to do when they leave, they try to close it back up, but it doesn't close all the way. But they are going in and out of the structure and of the backyard. I mean, we're talking a lot about trash, litter, and debris. I think we're here about the structure, is what we're here about. Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, it is a non-trespassing that is posted up there. It's the responsibility of, my opinion, of the city officials to go ahead and do their job as far as to make sure that no one's out with the litter that you had mentioned earlier. Okay, so as far as the structure, some of the pictures that you had shown, you were saying that was the roof in which it was not the roof in which you showed. It was actually a door on the side of the building. But you had gave the, how should I say, that you gave the illusion as though that was part of the ceiling, in which it was not. That was actually a door on the side for one of the pictures that you had showed. Okay, now as far as the structure on top, yeah, it does need some work, as I mentioned before. 80% of the roof is sound. It's only the one side in which you were taking the pictures, okay, which was due to the hurricane. Okay, so, but all the area that's around, in the front where you were saying that stuff can fall down, the sidewalk is about 10 feet from the front door. So if something was to fall down, it's still within property lines. It's not part of the city. It's part of the actual property, and there is signs saying no trespassing. Basically, all we're asking today is to have more time to fix and work on some of the issues that are going on. We just want a fair chance in doing so.
I've been notified numerous times on this property. We wrote up the property last year. Been notified. They're trying to sell the property. They haven't applied for any permits to do anything. They haven't came in to give us a plan of their action to rehabilitate the structure. But I have been notified 3-4 times about people interested in buying it. They've called community development. We've told them, we've explained to them what they can do and what they can't do on that property. A lot of them are calling in because they said it was a sixplex and they can rent it out rooms. Can no longer do that. It's set vacant. That goes away. So I don't see where we don't have a plan of action of this property, of what they want to do with this property. There's never been a plan of action that is brought to myself or Mr. Urquhart's attention.
In regards to what Mr. Cecil just basically said, I think the plan of action is what he just basically testified to, because part of it, to be honest, I don't have a lot of money. I don't. I'm just a hard-working individual that's trying to make it like everybody else. Everybody don't have the deep pockets that Mr. Cecil and probably some of you have. Okay, so part of our plan of action is to work with investors who have the deep pockets to be able to help us get everything up to building code standards so that we can preserve the property. It's been there since 1920. So we just don't want it knocked down. Okay, it's a lot of history with the building. So because I don't have the funds, we're seeking people who have the funds to go ahead. Hey, this is what's going on. Give Mr. Cecil a call. He can let you know what needs to be done, because part of, if you're going to take on this project, it has to be completed within a timely fashion. You just can't buy it and just let it sit. That's the problem. So what we want to do is get investor money to go ahead and come in, put it into the building, preserve the building, and get it running the way it should be to help enhance the value in that area, because there's a lot of things going on in the area. I'm sure you already know about it. I don't want to speak to the choir, but that's part of the reason why it seems like it's a lot of development going on and a lot of things taking place in that specific part of town. So we're trying to preserve it, get the funds that's needed, because I don't have deep pockets. I'm just a hard-working citizen that's trying to do the right thing and get the funds of people who have it. I already explained them what's the business model. Investor funds, bring it up to code, and because we're right in the heart of Daytona, where all the activity is going on, as far as all the major events is like 1 mile from us. It just seems like it's just such a waste to just tear it down because I don't have the funds. When the building was initially acquired, this new movement was nowhere to be found. It wasn't. It only started in May of last year, according to what Mr. Cecil had mentioned. And because of that, that put a strict timeline on the anticipated time frame that we had to go ahead and work on. We didn't know it was something that needed to be all this money that needed to be done right now. No. But what we're doing is working with the time that we have to get the funds. And through Mr. Cecil's own testimony, he explained that he has been contacted. So if he's been contacted, that means that something must be in place. And because I'm not the specialist here, I don't work for the city. The only thing I can do is point them to direction of someone who specializes, and that's their job. Again, city official, that's his job. He can tell them exactly what is needed. This is that's needed. This is what you can do, what you can't do. So before anyone put any investor monies out there, they know right off top, you can't buy the property and let it sit. Because we already have certain things already guideline based on Mr. Cecil, what he had explained to me before. And that's explained to every investor that is trying to fund our project.
You need to let the city finish their case.
Okay.
And you can have an opportunity to make a rebuttal at the end.
You can just have a chair and we'll call you back up.
The city would call Mr. Glenn Urquhart. Tell us your name, please.
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official, City of Daytona Beach.
As Chief Building Official, what are your duties?
My duties are responsibilities for all new and existing buildings within the city limits, as far as with construction and demolition.
Are you familiar with the site at 520 South Martin Luther King Boulevard?
Yes, I am.
How did you first become aware of the site?
I went out there with Mr. Cecil several times to go ahead and assess the property with him. After that, we made the determination and we issued the condemnation letter and posted the property. And Mr. Cecil has monitored the property ever since.
How many times have you been to the site?
I put it right at 3.
All right. Now, when you say we issued a condemnation order, you mean you, is that correct?
Well, I issued it, but he's my representation as far as in the field as the rehabilitation demolition inspector. So that's why he monitors these cases from the time I issue the actual letter, and then he'll post it along with the condemnation.
So let me show you this. Is this the condemnation order, the demolition order that you issued on this parcel?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to submit this to the board on this. This is what gets posted on the property?
Exhibit 1.
Yes, sir.
So rather than going through all the problems that Mr. Cecil's already been through, can you focus on what aspects of the property amount to either unsafe or dangerous conditions on the site, or are unsanitary, or otherwise make the property unfit for human occupation? So we probably want to roll through the photos again. We sent that out testimony, but if we could focus on those elements.
Okay. Keep on going, John, and I'll tell you when to stop.
Scroll forward. We have this
Scroll.
scroll. I can go to hard copies.
Okay, here we go. Okay, up at, right at the, can you freeze on that, John?
Yeah.
You face your board that's loose up at the top and go to the next frame. as far as around the perimeter of the building. So anytime you get your boards in this condition, where now your elements of the environment are getting in, and once the boards become loose, it's not where if it's 10 feet out or whatever, we're in the wind-borne debris region. If that stuff is loose and it flies out, it's not just going to drop straight down. It could go 10 feet out, it can go 20 feet out. It depends on the components of the weather to that day. Next pick. Keep going. And right back here, when I visit the property with Mr. Cecil, we agree 100% with him. We're here for the enforcement on the building, but we do notice other things while we're there. And actually inside of the area in the back, there was a little sleeping area set up with a little roll-out sleeping bag, a knapsack was there. But we're not there to take pictures of the homeless and stuff. All we do is, if we find a situation like that, we'll call the police and say, hey, we got a situation over there if you want to go ahead and look into it.
Let me ask you a few questions regarding that. The
Sure.
fact that you see evidence of homeless persons or vagrants there, does that indicate to you anything, one way or the other, as to whether or not the site is secure?
It indicates that the site's not secure and that the access, usually what the homeless do is they go for any structure or area that's accessible for them to seek shelter. So something like this, if it's open and they see it, they'll go to it.
All right, and the fact that there may be other persons present, does that cause any concern in terms of the health and safety issues with pieces coming off the building?
Yes, and then once a person gets onto the property like that, even for the homeless, if anything falls from up above, it's going to harm that person, that individual.
So that is something you take into account as to whether or not the property is dangerous?
Yes, sir.
Okay, continue.
Okay, go on, John. Right here, you can see where it's not like it happened yesterday. I mean, we have vegetation growth all over the building. Yeah, it's overtaken. It's inside. Once it gets up underneath the soffit area, then penetrates inside the building. Now you've got a water component that follows the root systems inside. You can see the roof is compromised and caving right there, and as well as anytime we get the rain that we get, once it gets inside, it can just wick up on the wood. So it's not just, as he said, 20% of the roof. You have a large part of this roof is compromised as far as how much water is getting inside and the elements of outside. So these situated, then you got partial collapse right there. Next picture.
So with the vegetation growing up inside the building, does that give you any indication as to whether there may be vermin present?
Oh, it definitely provides access for it. I mean, a rat will climb up that just like climbing up a tree. It's got the root system going right up the side of the building. Next picture, John. Keep going. And right here, if you go back, if you can see down by the base, you get a little bit of growth, whether it's mold, algae, whatever. You can see the discoloration on the building. So that could be analyzed. I'm not a professional as far as mold remediation and that, but you can definitely see some type of growth has taken place here, and it's usually consistent with moisture.
And are those coverings for windows? Is that what we're looking at in that picture?
Yeah, the windows are covered up.
All right, and the fact that there may be mold on the outside, does that give you any indications whether there may also be mold on the inside?
Yes, it's showing that moisture is actually entering the structure. Next pics. Right here you can see some of the roof peeling up in various, always to the left, kind of in the middle, off to the right. So the roof is definitely compromised. Next pitch. Here's just a close-up on the roof right there. Keep on going. Same thing, vegetation growing all around the building. And as Mr. Cecil pointed out before, a lot of the windowsill areas have given away and have fallen or corroded. You can see right there, that's still on the right-hand side, given away. And that, as far as when it does give way, can fall down and bounce off the structure that's right there, then into the public way. It doesn't have to fall directly onto somebody in order to access them. Next picture. There's more rotting soffit. Weather's going to get into it on that, and without it being a conditioned building, I'm making the assumption on the inside you're also having the same growth as far as mold, mildew. And that's just more pictures of, I mean, basically Mother Nature has taken the building over. more collapse. And right on that picture, you can see the weatherhead that's up on the bottom of it. So when he's talking about bringing in the code, that definitely isn't code. You have to be, you're going to end up passing on this building as much damage that there is to it, the 50% threshold. And once you pass the 50% threshold, you're going to have to bring the entire building up to modern day code. And I do not see it as far as valuation to be able to do that.
Have you made a determination that it would be unreasonable for the property owner to attempt to repair the property?
Yes, I do, sir.
Could you explain to the board how you came to that decision?
Just as far as the condition of the roof, the condition of the perimeter walls, and as far as making the assumption as far as what would be on the interior of this, and the electrical system would have to be upgraded. So once you bring them all in together as far as how much it's going to cost to repair the building, you're going to far outweigh the 50%, which then you're going to break that 50% threshold, and then it's going to have to brought up to modern code, which it's going to take a lot on this one.
No further questions.
Any other witness you have, sir?
No, not yet.
No, I'm sorry.
Does anybody have any further witnesses?
Okay.
No further witnesses.
Are there any other witnesses in the audience that want to speak?
Any questions?
Any questions? No, this is your opportunity for rebuttal.
No. Any questions for Mr.
Any
Burke?
questions? Yeah, right. Any questions to your Kurt?
Yes. I'm sorry, your last name
Is Urquhart.
Urquhart. I think I'll call your office one time. Okay, Mr. Urquhart. Yes, I actually do have a question for you. In the beginning, when you first came up, you had mentioned about what you and Mr. Cecil had observed when you came to the property. Okay, you had said you've been out there probably about 3 times. The 3 times that you've been out, in regards to the backyard, there was evidence of people sleeping there. I hate to touch it, but because you did, I have to say something about it again. Again, based on the photos, while you were out there, I know that wasn't your primary concern, but in all the photos that you've taken out there, still just don't see any pictures of the homeless or any indication at all when you took those pictures.
Well, in defense on that was basically a statement reiterating as far as for Mr. Cecil about the homeless. We're not here for the homeless, we're here for the structure, and I could go by any corner of the main intersection. There'll be homeless there. We'll get them off. The police will kick them off. An hour later, they'll be there. An hour later, they'll be there. We're not here to monitor the homeless. We're here to monitor a building that is unsafe to the public. And you can pepper me with questions all day, and I'll answer them. But what I'm saying, we're here for the structure, and I am in all due respect. I'm not here about the backyard. I'm not here about the homeless cups. I'm not here about the homeless trash bags that they leave. What we're here about is the structure. So if we can stay point to the structure, then we can go ahead and move on.
I really wish you had did that when you had first initially came up, because I wouldn't mention anything at all. But you did feel that it was important to go ahead and mention to the panel about the homeless being in the back, the dangers of the homeless in the back, along with homeless in the back sleeping, with sleeping bags and everything. But based on the pictures, we just don't see what you're referring to, unless they see something I don't. I just didn't see all of what you had mentioned when you initially came up. I know we're not talking about the homeless, but because you took so much time to talk about the homeless and also them being on the property and the evidence of them being on the property, but the pictures just don't show it.
Well, I really didn't take much time. It probably took about 11 seconds to identify that situation. But with that, as far as us identifying and doing a statement on how many people there, when they're there, I never said I saw people sleeping there. All I said was I saw the beddings, evidence of it, with the knapsack, and that's to my testimonial. I don't have to have pictures for everything. I can actually have a testimony. I'm under sworn testimony right now. So, under my sworn testimony, they were there, as far as the evidence. Not the individual, but the evidence.
So your sworn testimony is just as important as my sworn testimony, is that correct?
Yeah, and you're making the assumption that, and again, once you're moving on, you're concentrating on the backyard and the evidence of that. I'm concentrating on The structure, and when I say it's unsafe, as far as things can fly off onto the sidewalk, not straight down, I'll give you my professional opinion on that.
Okay. Have you been in the building?
No, I have not.
You haven't been on the building. Okay. The whole time, based on your professional expertise, you said that with the winds blowing, all of the overhang would just fall down on the property. Is that correct?
I did not specify that the whole time when I was speaking. I strictly said that
It could.
It could.
It could.
Yes.
Okay. But so far, that the building's been there since Mr. Cecil has put the letter on or put the sign up. There hasn't been any indication of it could happen. It just hasn't happened so far. Okay, so that's pretty much speculation. You know, it could. You know, somebody could come pay $10 billion for the property. It could happen, but did it? No, it didn't. Okay. Have you seen any vermin inside the building? You had mentioned.
I have not been in the building.
Okay. Have you seen any vermin run down and run it into the building?
Well, here's the thing. As far as the structure itself, the structure is an unsafe structure. It doesn't matter whether I see rats. It doesn't matter whether I see homeless people. I'm strictly talking about the building. My job is for the public safety of the city of Daytona Beach. And that's dealing with new and existing buildings. And so what I'm telling you right now, as far as off of the codes that we enforce, that the structure as is an unsafe structure.
Okay. But that's the picture that you were painting. Now, you had mentioned codes. Is it possible that I can see what was submitted to evidence? Or is that only for the panel and not for myself?
Are you finished with your questions?
I'm sorry? No, I still have a couple. I just wanted to take a quick look, see if it's the same thing there. Okay. Now, with this that was submitted into evidence, is this the same exact thing that everyone else here has? Is this a generalized statement that was put up there?
That is the posting on the structure that Mr. Cecil showed you on the first slide.
Oh, okay. Because I had spoke with Mr. Cecil, and he had pretty much told me that this is something that was general. So it's not like it's specific for the property. It's more of
No, if you have it right here. As you go onto these different pages and the different items that are specified, it's a general format of a letter that goes out, but each of the identified infractions that are here are specific to your building. Some buildings might only have 2 items. Some buildings might have 10 items. It depends on your building. So the format of here, then the demolition order right here, and the signature, as far as where I sign, is consistent with other demolition orders. But this right here is going to identify your infraction. Specific.
Yeah, okay. All right. And I know it was testimony earlier that the building didn't have any power or any utilities. Is that correct?
Mr. Cecil said he didn't have proof on that, whether he did or not. Are you paying a power bill?
To answer your question, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I think there was
But I never said to you that there was no power. I noticed where the weatherhead is from the picture. But as far as, are you air conditioning it right now?
I'm sorry?
Is the building air conditioned right now?
Well, because of the temperature outside is.
No, I mean,
It's
at
no
any
need.
point since May.
Well, there is a AC on present on the building. Yes.
It can be on the building or you're running the AC.
Well, due to a couple of different. Right now, it's not fully occupied. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not being run all the time. There's no need for that.
Right, well,
Okay,
the
that's
big
on-
thing that comes
that's on
into buildings, once you get an unconditioned building, that's when it's favorable for the growth of mildew, mold, and other things like that. So if you don't keep a building, you can have a brand new building they just built, you can leave it alone for 3 months. If it's not conditioned, you're gonna have growth.
Okay. Now, the back area of the structure that you have pointed where you said Mother Nature has taken place, that's actually part of the patio. The building itself is about 20 feet from the back wall that you had showed, because that's all like an open patio area on the back. So that's, the vines is just regular growth that you would see on any residential property on the back.
No, what's on the structure right now? That's not
No,
like typical
no,
growth.
no, no, no. I'm talking about on the back side.
I'm only concerned with what's on the structure, not what's on the ground.
No, we're talking about the structure.
Well, once it's there, once a line takes off and growing, it has a water source, it's gonna keep on growing. It's not just gonna stop, okay, I've reached the soffit, I'm gonna stop here. It's gonna keep going.
Keep going. Okay. I think that's pretty much, but you haven't seen it grow on the inside though, right?
Haven't never been inside the property.
Never seen the inside, so,
Seen the inside.
okay. All right, that's,
But I know pretty much from my 54 years on planet that the line just doesn't all of a sudden say, I'm stopping right here. It doesn't keep on growing.
no, I definitely understand that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other witnesses?
Wait a second, the city have any more witnesses?
Okay.
Let me do a follow-up question, Mr. Urquhart. Mr. Urquhart, did you observe the planks, the 2x4s that were stuck on the structure to hold the upper floor?
I did not, I was not present on that visit.
You did observe the photographs?
Did observe the photographs, and as far as my trust in my inspector, as far as being out there and him saying that they're there, it would not be a standard shoring acceptable plan for something like that.
Based on what was depicted in the photographs, were you able to determine whether or not that was a safety issue?
I would say it's a safety issue.
And why is that?
It's because it's not structurally supporting that in a correct manner. Usually when you get a shoring plan, you'll have metal columns that are securely fastened to something at the base, as well as up to what it's supporting, instead of something that's just propped up in there.
Would a permit be required to do that sort of work?
Yes, sir.
And do you know of any permits?
No permits.
just a real quick question. So in your opinion, is it something that can be fixed?
In my opinion, as I stated earlier,
Yeah, yes.
I stated
Yes or no?
finding, yeah. If
said-
you're asking me yes or no with no explanation, I'll say no.
So it can't be remedied at all?
At this point, from the assessment, it would be up to 100% code. If you're willing to do 100% code, I think the valuation far outweighs as far as the point where you're at right now. And Mr. Jagger asked me that question earlier.
Okay. Are you an appraiser?
No, I'm not a prisoner. No.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing further to say.
Now, it's your opportunity now, if there's any witnesses you have, or not, then you do this time to give rebuttal.
Okay, I don't have any witnesses besides Mr. Cecil that has come and already indicated there was somewhat of a plan in place. Okay, through his testimony, he pretty much had indicated that people calling him about buying, the investors calling him about buying, and asking him if what they can do with the property and everything else. They have called numerous times to my witness, Mr. Cecil here. Okay, I don't have, and just a little background about my background. I've been in real estate going on 20 years, so I do have some expertise as far as buildings of this nature. Okay, and I think it is something that can be brought up to code. Okay, but the thing that we're looking at is time. As I mentioned, when we first had reached out to the city, if there was any code violations or anything before the acquisition of the property, we were told no. Came back clean deed, title, everything. It was nothing that came up. A couple months afterwards, all of a sudden, there's an issue now. So now we're just basically trying to get everything up to code and in a position where we can actually get it up and running to its full value. That's pretty much. We're just asking for a fair chance to do the same that someone on the beach side will be able to do, or another neighborhood will be able to do. That's all we're doing. We just want the same opportunity. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Board, any questions?
Yeah. A question. What's your anticipated cost to preserve the building?
Right now, we're looking based on some of the people that have gone out, contractors, somewhere around $50,000 to $75,000. Full rehab, but the valuation on the building according to some of the comps, is a lot higher than that. So there is potential, and it is attractive for the correct investor to go and come along, where it can be profitable, and not only that, that we could preserve the building with its history and everything else.
How much time do you need to secure financing?
We have a meeting with someone in a couple of days. They're flying out from Chicago, so they're coming down less than a week, and they say this is exactly what they're looking for, because Daytona Beach has been undervalued as a whole, and they're looking to spend quite a few millions in this area. So, are they going to spend millions on this property? No, they're not going to spend millions on this property. But the area itself, multiple properties they're looking into, and the primary one to get them to come here is the property that we have. That's their primary reason for flying in from Chicago. So, to answer your question, maybe 90 days. 90 days to get everything up and running. Because we had people to come in, but I'm not sure what the conversation went after speaking with Mr. Cecil, but they have contacted some serious buyers, have contacted and was willing to put money into it. So now that we have something that with the specifics, I'm going to get that later on, but I could go and show them these are the things specifically that needs to be done. And if you're willing to go ahead and put this in, then we can make it a win-win for everyone, including Daytona Beach as a whole, not just the street, but as a whole.
So 90 days to finish or 90 days to start?
Within 90 days to start.
Start.
So
How long do you think it would take you to get it finished then?
To be reasonable, about 6 to 8 months, depending on if we could get it started, then it could be a lot sooner than that.
So that would only be about 10 to 12 months then?
Max if that.
I got a question there.
Go ahead.
On that building, you've been since May and you haven't done anything to it. You've got the thing out there. Why haven't you cleaned up to cut the bushes off and stuff like that to make to present the property better than what it is, where it's fallen down? It's going to cost more than what to tear it down. It's going to cost more for you to rebuild it than what it's actually worth. And I don't think you get, as an investor, I don't think you get one in there.
Okay. That's an opinion. I definitely value your opinion. We've had people on the pessimistic view as well as the optimistic. But to more answer your question, things that have been done, we have cleaned up the backyard that has been cut. Also, we have been proactive with getting the city involved as far as the vagrants to get them out away from the building. So with them being off of the property, it's more presentable to any potential investor that comes out, because when they come out, they don't want to see nobody out there, on the property. So that has been set in place, and since then, every time I'm coming out there day or night, I don't see as many people out there like before. All the showings that have been set up have been on in the daytime when law enforcement is active, so they're not hanging around the building or anything of that nature, which also gives a positive image, and more of a positive image when someone's looking to put money into a project.
One other thing I have to ask you says if. That big F is a big F, because you haven't got the investors in line now, and what do you want us to go another 6 months onto it or so for try to get an investor for you? They ain't gonna look. The place is falling down, and you should know that.
Well, based on the pictures from the beginning to now, it's stuff not falling down that you're saying right now. No one's been on the inside. I have. Okay. and others, but it's not falling down the way that you're describing. Okay, which is, I'm sorry that that's. I apologize that that's the case, but yes, it is an if. If I live tomorrow, if I die tomorrow, what are you going to do with the property? If I live to see the next court hearing date, it's life itself is an if, but we're not living with ifs. We're working on making things happen. Okay, this is my investment. I know you don't have any skin in the game with this property. I know you probably don't even care less. It's just part of your job. I understand that. But for me, we put money into this property. Okay? So we have to get the property up and running to what we were looking at from the initial acquisition point. All we were asking is just the opportunity to do what just a chance. Opportunity, that's all.
But you haven't done anything since May. That's the
What is your definition of anything? Because I've already illustrated that we already cut the back of the backyard. We also being proactive with putting systems in place. First of all, before.
Just let me finish. The structure, they're not worried about the yard so much. The structure, that if you got kids in the neighborhood and stuff, what happens if the board falls on them? You have liability insurance on that?
Yeah.
I know you don't because you couldn't get it.
See, in this, okay. To answer your question, kids in the neighborhood, there's no kids in the neighborhood in that area. Okay? I know because I'm there in that area. When the last time you've been to the property, Mr. Brown?
Huh?
It's not your. The board doesn't answer your questions. They question you.
Okay, I understand.
I think you made your point.
No, I understand. But to answer your question, there are no kids in the area. There's no kids on that block. There haven't been in the last since 2017. Okay, they haven't been there. If someone has a child right now, they won't be old enough to go on the block.
Do you have any comments or questions?
I was just curious, what is the zoning? Is that single family or?
The way it
Commercial.
comes up is multifamily, fiveplex,
Yeah, well,
according to the city.
If it's been vacant more than 6 months, reverse the single. I was just curious if it was commercial or residential.
It wouldn't be considered
It's residential.
because it says fiveplex. So anything over 4 units would be considered commercial, technically speaking.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
but
but
how you classify it, that's something different. But by definition, it would meet
right.
the definition of commercial.
And when did you purchase the property?
November of 17.
All right, so you've had it for over a year. Okay.
Just right around that time.
That's the only questions I have.
Okay, Madam Chairperson, let me just basically say that the way the statute reads, it says, any person directly affected by the decision of the code official or a notice or an order shall have the right to appeal. That's what we're here for, the right to appeal. Mm-hmm. You're the board, you have the opportunity to uphold the appeal, reverse or modify based upon a majority of your votes. And that's what your decision is to make at this point.
Board, your comments and pleasure?
Sorry, do you have any closing? Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I see a hand in the, do you have your form completed to talk?
Yeah, I have a form, but I don't have the letter. I don't have A on it.
Right.
I didn't
Come on.
hear him.
I have the form, it has the letter D, but doesn't have the letter A.
Okay.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, all right.
Come on up.
Okay,
Oh, come on up.
I didn't see another one. I'm sorry, come on up, John. Excuse me, I didn't see your form under there.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I live on Beachside, and they've torn down probably 100 buildings, all right, in even better shape than this one. The people in the neighborhood deserve to have decent buildings around them. It's not that he just bought the building. He's had it, 15, 16 months? The most common thing you do if your roof's that bad, you put a blue tarp on it. I saw no evidence of blue tarp. I saw no evidence of care for the neighbors. I understand there are no children around there, but there are bodies all the time on Martin Luther King. It is a very busy highway. I fault the city for not going in sooner, but that's water under the bridge. We have to think of the neighbors. I would love to keep this building there. The neighbors need this building. No more vacant lots. Trust me. I've seen enough vacant lots. But he neglected it to the point, if the city says it needs to be done, then it needs to be done. And if you're going to give him an extension, hold it airtight. You want to see the building up to code in visual, outside only, at the end of a month or whenever you meet again. Hold them to the fire. Because right now, literally, they've done nothing. If he wasn't coming here, that trash wouldn't be off the lawn. And that's the minor part for the neighbors. It takes what? How long to take a weed eater to a backyard? Doesn't take that long. I'm shocked that knowing that you're going to be here, he didn't pull those vines off the building. Take a pressure paint. Nice bright white. I mean, people do that to hide, you know, so you guys don't say it looks like garbage. None of that is done. And to sit there, maybe possibly somebody should be, is not enough for you. So either if you're going to do it, make it rock solid that the neighbors don't have to look at garbage for another, 6 months, a year? You give him a month, and if nothing happens, then you tear it down. Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Staff?
Just want to say here, at the conclusion of that, according to your rules, at the conclusion of deliberation by the board shall orally issue an order affirming, modifying, or reversing the decision of the code official by a majority vote.
Okay.
That's what your opportunity is.
So are you ready to vote, or do you want to make comments up here? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a motion, though.
I motion to vote, or to whatever your wishes are, staff.
I move to give them a 90 days grace period to secure the financing.
So you want to modify, you want to go ahead and, you want to leave the order in place, but you want to just go ahead and not execute it for 90 days and see if he gets financing.
Correct.
I think we should also put the fact that we have proof of the financing.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If it has to be seconded, it has to be approved, the motion.
Okay,
There may not be a second.
all right. And we want to second that?
I'll second.
You're going to second, okay. Well, are you ready for a vote then? All those in...
Before we take a vote, may I just ask a point of clarification? Will this be reset then for them to appear again in 90 days?
You could do that.
Submit some proof to you that they've
Yeah.
either obtained or not obtained their
Sure.
financing?
If the motion passes, it would have to have some sort of a hearing. There'll be another hearing in 90 days. We'd have to present the proof.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's have a roll call vote.
Mr. Culver?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Okay. You understand what happened, sir? You give you 90 days to come up with financing. It'll be set for another hearing, and then if you do, you'll need to be able to bring in proof.
Yes.
If it's not, then they'll probably entertain a motion at that point to deny the appeal.
And the next case,
BP 2018-0016-14 Field Notice Condemnation and Demolition.
This property is owned by Mr. Gilbert Mayer, and they are here today, and they're represented by counsel, Mr. Daniels. I believe they've had some discussion before the hearing, and it may have worked out a consideration for you to consider this morning. So if let's have Mr. Urquhart come up, and then Mr. Daniels can speak as well, but Mr. Urquhart could summarize.
Yeah, I could go ahead and summarize. I
You've
spoke
been
with them.
previously- You've been previously sworn, and give us your name again, please.
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official, City of Daytona Beach.
Thank you.
I spoke with the party before we started proceeding, and they are going to get plans in a week. And I already told them as far as no drawing it out or anything, so we definitely have to push forward to where we're seeing positive progress. And we had originally met with them 6 months ago, and they were having trouble securing the trust because of how busy it is with construction. They notified me today that they would have the trust package in place in 2 months. And it's not uncommon right now with everything going on as far as the backlog and getting materials. So I spoke with them on that. They agreed to go ahead and he's going to get a plan with me within a week. And their trust package has already been ordered. We already have their original plan in there. Spoke with Steve as far as on what their procedures are going to be and what their plan of action is. So we're going to go ahead and just move to.
You want to continue the matter for 30 days, 60 days? What do you want us to do?
I would say let's go ahead and do on this one. We'll give them 90 days as well.
Okay.
So what the board needs to do is continue the matter for 90 days.
Yep, we'll put it on hold. And then if in 90 days they haven't done anything to it and haven't held true to what they presented me, then it'll be back up in front of you for you guys to vote on.
We need a motion to continue the case for 90 days.
You want to make one of us make a motion on that?
Motion to continue.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. You're welcome. We hope not to see you in 90 days.
Bye-bye, Gag.
Okay. The next case,
BP 2018-0038, 299 Morningside Avenue, appeal of notice of condemnation and demolition.
is there anyone here representing that property? Okay.
The owner is listed as Valerie Potter Albert.
Come on up, sir.
He's the next case.
Next case.
He's the next case.
I'll do the next case.
299 Morningside.
Is anybody here at all on the 229 Morningside Avenue case? Okay, come on up to the front. You're a witness? You're a witness, sir?
He just wants to speak. I just want to speak.
Yeah, okay, good. Sit down. We'll get to you.
Okay.
No, not yet, not yet. Just sit down. No, you can stay there.
I'll sit right here.
You can stay there. You're fine. Okay. The city's got to present their case. They can call you up as witness. We can call you up as witness.
Okay.
All right, shall I proceed?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The staff ready to proceed? We call Mr. Cecil. State your name and your title.
John Cecil, Demolition and Rehabilitation Inspector.
And are you familiar with 299 Morningside Avenue?
Yes, I am.
And how did you first become aware of any issues on the site?
That property, there was complaints made of the property and of the property being in disrepair.
When did you first become aware of those issues?
I would have to look back on my files, but I believe it was May or June also at this time.
That was 2018?
That's correct.
How many site inspections have you made?
I've been out there at least a dozen times. I mean, it's right on a main road that I take, and I go by that property 3-4 times a week.
When was the last time you were out there?
I was out there this morning.
Have you taken some photos of the condition of the structure?
Yes, I have.
And when did you take those photos?
Different times of site visits that I was at the property. I was at the property again yesterday with Officer Bissa, I believe is his last name, and we walked the property then also.
Is any work being conducted on the property to change the condition that we'll see in the photos?
There is no work being done at the property.
Very good. Let's roll through the photos and if you can describe for us the condition of the structure.
Okay, here's a picture of the posting and a picture of the notice of the hearing. This is a picture of the front of the property.
John, excuse me, John, can you go back to that? For the board's sake, did you post that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good, thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we don't have
When
anybody
did-
here, so it's kind of important
When
to make
did you
sure.
post that?
Yeah.
Approximately?
I believe it was June or July. I
Okay,
can look
that's
back
fine.
in my file. I got my file right here.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
Go ahead and take a look, just make sure your testimony is accurate.
let's make sure, because there's nobody here.
July 19th of last year.
What is your last?
Okay.
Is that the date of posting?
Yes.
All right, was the sign also posted for this year?
Yes, it was.
All right, when was that posting done?
January 3rd for this hearing.
Do any of these photographs show the posting for this hearing?
Yes, it does. It's to the left.
Very good, thank you. And was that was also mailed to the owner, is that correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Any further questions with regard to notice?
No,
posting?
thank you. Just for the board understanding, because nobody's here, it's very important that we put on the record that they did receive notice. And you could do that either by posting or you could do it by certified mail. They posted the property.
Okay.
And mailed as well?
And mailed it too.
This is a picture taken just about from the gate. There's a gate that the driveway there that just showing you the overall picture of the structure. Here's another photo of it. There's another photo of it. This is all from the gate area.
Well, what's the significance of these photos? I don't want to roll through without you pointing out any particular issue.
My significance is that I'm showing you that there is a property. The property is all overgrown. Generally, when I go up to a property, I take a street view shot of the property. From this, I cannot get a street view shot, so that's why I took these pictures as best as I could from the gate area.
Well, there appears to be some issues with the soffit or fascia and the roof. Could you discuss those?
Yes, that's, and when you look at the property, you can see how the plywood is actually over the front door there also, where it was boarded up, but the soffit is falling down and the fascia is also damaged. In later pictures, you'll see that it is completely coming down.
And these pictures, by the way, are time-stamped and dated.
Yes,
And the date is September 7th, it looks like, 2018. Is that accurate?
correct.
Very good. Next slide.
There's a closer picture now. You can see the soffit is falling down. Now there's plywood missing off of there also. Now, if you've seen on the previous picture, there was plywood on the door, so that's showing that there's activity that's going on at this property.
The property was not secure?
As at this time, it was not because of
What was this photo taken?
This photo would be taken at the time of the second posting
All right.
for the hearing.
What was the condition when you went out yesterday? Was it boarded or was it open like this?
It's open like this. Actually, there's a chair in the front. The door was wide open. There's a mattress which is right inside the front door. The soffit across the front is falling down more. The fascia is actually fell down when I was there with Officer Bissa.
Right. So in this photo, we see that the windows appear to be either open or broken out?
Broken out.
All right. Is
And open on the left side. The broken out one's there on the right.
that- What was the condition yesterday when you went out with regard to access to the windows?
The same.
So wide open?
Wide open, yes.
All right. Any other particular concerns from a health, safety standpoint?
As you can see here, the ceiling or the soffit keeps falling down on the porch. So if there was people that was going to the property, they're in danger also of the debris that's falling. This is the rear of the property. As you can see, water damage. Those were glass sliding doors where they're all busted out on the right-hand side. You can see the windows here are all busted out where they're going in and out of the structure, and the graffiti, of course, and the roof damage, soffit and fascia damage there. This is another side picture of the other posting, which I post on generally 2 or 3 sides of the property. So this just shows you that you're seeing it this is from Morningside Street, looking over from that side of that gate. This is just showing the electrical and then showing the damage that is in the soffit where metal scrappers have been going onto the property. They're taking out the vents. They're taking all the scrap that they can off of this property.
Are you able to tell whether there's electric or utilities to the site?
There is no power to this structure. There's more. That just shows how open it is. That's on the front porch.
What is this that's hanging down? Is that is that a power cord? Or?
That I am not sure.
Very good.
There's the meter pictures that show there's no meter cam in there, that there's no power at the structure. This is the back view of the porch also, just like the previous one where the windows were missing. This is as you're coming around the back side of the garage, you're looking. There's evidence of the homeless that are there. Also, it just shows you the plywood. You can see it's busted out. That's a doorway jamb that would go back into the house where they've pulled away the plywood and accessing the property. There's another picture of it. You can see that all the windows busted out in the back, and they're making access through that property. There's another back photo of it that's looking the opposite direction. That's looking north. As you can see the damage.
Any evidence of water intrusion?
Yes, you'll see in another picture where the inside is the ceilings are coming down.
Right, and again, we're looking at soffit and fascia damage here.
That's correct. That's correct. That's another photo. That's looking down. That's where it's showing that they gained access through that door. There's a door open. I'm showing the damage, roof damage. Okay, this is now we're inside. We actually met the owner's daughter at the property at the time when we went and when these pictures were taken.
You conducted the inspection with the owner's daughter?
That's correct.
With her authority and consent?
Yes, and Mr. Urquhart was there also. And you can see some of the ceiling coming down. This is on the living room. As you can see in the back, they still bust out the glass. And then here, I'll go back to the previous one. The water damage is coming in. And then the reason why that is you can see on the roof. That's what the neighbors and everybody's looking at. There's a lot of traffic at this location. Like I said, I met Officer Bissett out there at the property yesterday, and he checks that property on his shift. I believe it was every day that he is in that area.
On the previous slide, you showed the ceiling that caved in.
Yes.
And are you able to determine why or how that would have occurred?
Have been water damage, and we explained that to the owner's daughter. She thought that she would just go in there and give it a fresh coat of paint and everything, and then they could just work on that as they went. But Mr. Urquhart explained a couple of things about the electric had been corrosion and stuff like that. So she kind of was stating that that's a little bit more than what they thought that they would have to do to the property.
Any evidence of mold?
I'm not a mold specialist, so I could not tell you that.
I see some stains in the ceiling. Are those water?
That I believe that is water, and it is. I believe that was smoke from where they possibly had fire or lighters. How they light that, and you can hold it up against that, and make the brown marks on the ceiling. If you take a lighter and you hold it real close or a flame, and you just go like that, it'll burn the paint.
All right. Move on.
And that's the last photo there.
I don't think so.
Call Mr. Urquhart.
Glenn Urquhart, Chief Building Official, City of Daytona Beach.
Mr. Urquhart, let me show you what's entitled the Notice of Condemnation and Demolition Order. Is this the order that was issued and posted to the site?
Yes, sir.
Is your signature on the box?
Yes, sir.
I submit this to the board for their consideration. All right, what about the site? Now, have you been out to the site?
Yes, sir.
How many times?
I actually drive by it every week because it's over on the way home to my house. But as far as
I got out and looked at it.
yes, and actually was on site as far as with the daughter, and she let us inside, let us see everything. And I explained to her that the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems have all been compromised, as well as most of the roof area on the internal and exterior. The only thing really good on the whole project would be your perimeter walls and your foundation as far as anything to build off of. So having to replace everything else as well as flooring and all the roof systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, far outweighs the value as far as what she'd have to put into it. And she admitted to us that she has no money to deal with it, and it was handed down to her. So it's...
In your opinion, is the site dangerous or unsafe?
Yes. And if I can further on that, as far as when we have made several visits there, you have the classic shopping cart with all the materials in it as far as the synopsis with homeless people. And they were actually covering that with blue tarps. And a big problem with that as far as public safety, not just building materials flying off and hitting people, but a lot of the homeless society, you deal with ex-felons. So now we have people that are living in here, but then we have school right down the street. We have bus stops right there on the street. So when you have the kids walking these sidewalks and you have the homeless and people, it just creates the possibility of things to happen that we don't want to see happen.
Is this an attractive nuisance for children?
100%.
In your opinion, would it be reasonable for the owner to attempt to repair the structure?
I would say no.
And why is that?
As far as your repairs, far outweigh what the value of the building is.
Very good. I have no further questions. Support any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Kim, would you mind coming up and speaking to the notice issue? So we can confirm that we have notice to the owner. State your name, please.
My name is Kim Flaherty. I'm the project manager.
And your title?
Project manager.
I'm sorry. How long have you held that position?
A year and about 15 days.
Do your duties include providing notice to the owners of properties that have submitted appeals?
Yes.
And there was notice provided in this case to the owner for this hearing?
Yes.
Tell us how that was done.
We received from some prior correspondence. She has two addresses. She uses the property address for her official mailing address for this property, but we did find another address for her in South Volusia, which is where she previously has signed for notices when she received the notice of order. So certified mail, first mail, were both sent to both addresses for this hearing, as well as posted at the property.
Was the certified mail returned and signed?
I have not received the back one from the Southeast Volusia address. I did receive one from the property address that just said vacant.
Was mail also sent first class U.S. mail?
Both addresses, first class U.S. mail. No signature required.
So first class plus certified?
Correct.
And we've already heard testimony about the posting. So thank you very much. Are there any questions concerning
No.
this? Nothing further from the city on this?
Witness.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Ed Eide. I live at 301 Morningside Avenue.
Have you been sworn in, sir?
I beg your pardon?
You've been sworn in. Sworn.
I don't swear.
You know,
Sorry.
you can affirm.
I can affirm, sure.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony and evidence you give is the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
We're not married now, right?
No. My wife won't happy about that.
The pictures that Mr. Cecil showed, I get to see every day. Every day. I look out my windows and see that. Every day. The gentleman who spoke last time in support of the delay for the previous one, we've been delayed the house has been empty for almost 10 years. Empty. Not a human being living in there legally. Vitoth is our neighbor across the other street, so we've got it surrounded between the two of our houses. I have not personally ever seen homeless people there, but Vi has. We appreciate the police coming all the time, but where have they been for 5 years? Where have they been for 4 years? This woman is in arrears with her taxes and other things, with her foreclosure on the property for years and years and years. And just as they want to do something on the city level, she pays them off. Now, Mr. Urquhart said that she doesn't have any money to do anything with. So where does she come up with to pay the taxes at the last minute and keep the property looking like it looks? And those pictures don't represent it at all. You got to be there. Every once in a while, somebody comes and actually trims somebody was there on Saturday. I don't know if the city paid them or what, but they cleaned some of the stuff on the boulevard. 3 or 4 months ago, now they're not paying they're not paying water, sewer, garbage like the rest of us do, but there was a pile of yard waste that the guy at the big scooper, by the way, if you haven't ever watched them work, it's worth 10, 15 minutes to watch those guys clean the trash. There were piles upon piles upon piles of garbage left in the street. Most of us don't get away with that. Somebody comes and finds us for it. This house has been doing it for 5 years. You can see through the roof. So one day after the last hurricane, the daughter's kids came and climbed up on the roof and put about 5 pieces of plywood down along with a blue tarp. That was their fixing the holes on the roof. It didn't improve it, folks. All it did was buy it some time to get worse water intrusion than it already has. I have to say, Kim has been a blessing to this group. She's been responsive if we call and ask questions. She got me the agenda. I want to thank her for all the work she's doing. It's great. I would rather pay more money in taxes for these guys to do their job better than some of the places that we've got people working in the city. This is important to us, to be able to see improvements. Our house was the garbage house in the neighborhood until a flipper did it and built a brand new house. It's a beautiful house. It fits the neighborhood. Vi's house is a lovely house. It fits the neighborhood. I don't know what neighborhood this house fits at 299 Morningside. Would you like to wake up to that every morning? These guys drive by it, but they don't live across the street or next to it. If you don't demo this and give her an extension even though she didn't show up, that's wrong. That's just wrong. We deserve a decent neighborhood to live in. We don't deserve looking at garbage every morning of our lives. We pay our taxes. We don't get police calls. The police don't come to our house, but they're over there all the time. But I don't see anybody arrested. They say homeless people are there, but I don't see anybody hauled away. Please allow the city to demo this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from the audience
Any other witnesses?
or witnesses?
You guys, anybody else want to say something? Okay, no.
Okay. Board, your wishes? Any comments? And what someone has to make a motion?
Yeah, a motion is either to affirm the appeal or deny the appeal.
What do you want to do?
I'll make a motion to deny appeal
Deny it?
tonight. In
I
other
didn't
words,
hear-
we'll go through with
Go to-
the
yeah.
I still didn't understand you, sir.
He made a motion to deny the appeal, which means to go through with the demolition.
Yes, okay, then that's what I wanted to hear.
second that.
Okay. You're going to second?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a vote? All those in favor of the recommendation to
Appeal that was
appeal.
denied.
Oh, say it for me.
The motion is so that the appeal is to be denied, which means go forward
Right,
with demolition.
exactly. It has to come down then.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, it was a unanimous vote.
Unanimous vote, okay.
So you have your wishes, sir. Thank you for coming and talking to us today. It was, we have one in our neighborhood too, so I know what you're talking about. So thank you very much for your time, all three of you. Okay? What else?
D.
Next case.
BP 2017-0001, 408 Dr. Mary Plaza Boulevard, appeal of notice of condemnation and demolition order.
May I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, this is 408 for Dr. Mary Ann Bethune Boulevard. The listed owner is Prism Residential Services, Inc. And the city is prepared to present evidence concerning this.
Take a seat. Sit down. Take a seat.
There appears to be somebody here who's representing the owner. Could we have him identify himself and be sworn in to testify? Are you here on behalf of the owner? Or are you the owner?
He's the owner.
Can we address this issue first?
Sure.
Before we get into it? 'Cause I want to make sure that we've got the
Appropriate
appropriate
parties,
parties here
right,
to speak.
okay.
Would you mind standing up?
Come on up.
Tell the board why you're here.
Did we swear you in before, did you get sworn in earlier?
No.
Raise your right hand. Okay. Let me ask you, do you agree to interpret, what's the language?
Spanish.
From Spanish to English, English to Spanish, to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Shall we inquire?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I want to know what your interest is in the property. Can you translate that?
Yes. Oh, okay. Bueno, my name is Michael Payares. Mi interés es remodelarla toda para ponerla a funcionar inmediatamente.
So he wants to make purchase the property so he can repair it and make it functional again, put the roof and structural intact. He wants it.
Is he the owner of the property? Has he purchased it already?
He purchased it, apparently he purchased it in December. I'm sorry,
Just don't answer for him. Let him
Okay,
answer.
okay. Sí. ¿Cuándo tú para comprar la propiedad?
Hice el cierre el 28 de diciembre.
Okay, the 28th of December, he made a purchase.
Do you have a deed with you, the evidence of ownership?
Estoy esperando, aquí está todo el contrato, todas las cosas, las tengo en el correo, pero aquí está la transacción que hice, la casa de título.
He has the transaction that he purchased the property, he's waiting for the title, and he has not received anything since that day after he made the initial purchase. Yeah, but he has email and stuff for transactions and
Do you have access, Kim, to the Property Appraiser's website?
I checked it this morning. As of this morning, there was no record of a transaction.
Okay, come on, tell us again what you.
I checked the public records this
Oh.
morning because I knew the owner was trying to sell at about 8:15 this morning. I checked. As of 1 o'clock yesterday, the clerk of court does not have a recorded deed for a purchase of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Could you just, again, tell us your name, give us a good address where you can be reached and a telephone number if you don't mind.
My name is Michael Payares. My address is 5524 Metro West Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. Cisco 32811. My phone is 407-879-4020.
And is that's where you can receive mail? Is the correct mailing address?
Sí. Yes. Michael Payares 12 arroba gmail.com.
Personal home address.
And my company. Okay. My company.
You want his company address or his personal?
Yeah. Yes. Sí, sí, sí. My email, my company is Marvin Construction LLC arroba gmail.com.
Pero la dirección física, donde tú vives, la dirección.
Es 5524 Metro West Boulevard, Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Which property is
Esta
this?
es la dirección de.
Okay,
La
thank you.
dirección que aparece con la compañía.
Sí, pero él quiere la dirección a donde vive ahora.
Sí, en es 5524 Metro West Boulevard, apartamento 201.
Okay.
And it's your testimony that you're the current owner based on a deed transferring title to you, is that correct?
Sí, y entonces él dice que tú compraste y tú estás esperando para la prueba de.
Sí, sí. Yes.
Given the status.
What has he showed you though from that piece of paper saying it was a transaction?
So we don't have in here a deed.
Right.
We've got some sort of title, some correspondence from the title company, and evidence of a bank transfer, but none of this really is evidence of ownership, so it's not something that I would present to you as indicating that the title is transferred. But I think at this point, given this testimony, it'd be hard pressed for the city to move forward, given the dispute on ownership. We certainly wouldn't want to demolish the property where we have a new owner.
Who did the appeal? The previous owner?
The previous owner did the appeal.
Does he want to follow up on the appeal? Are you
here to? Well, he can't speak for the prior.
Right.
And we would have an issue on notice.
Sure,
in terms of moving forward on the demolition. So we're in a bit of a quandary. When and if the title work comes through, we would have to start over the process on the new owner.
Right.
He may voluntarily agree to a demolition. That's always one option. But absent a voluntary demolition, we would have to re-condemn the property.
Which gives you an option to go ahead and for us to continue it again for at least 30 days, and they give you an opportunity. If the deed gets transferred, we can go forward with your process. If it doesn't get transferred, we can hear the case.
You want to speak to that?
I don't want to keep this thing open forever.
Glenn Urquhart, City of Daytona Beach building official. In this particular case, because we haven't shown the pictures yet, I wouldn't be comfortable with another 30 days, and I'd like to at least present the pictures so you could see, because the wall that's pulling away could definitely fall onto the side. It doesn't look like that if you're right in front of it, but if you got the side view picture that we're going to show you as well as the aerial view, this wall could come down on the sidewalk and just pancake somebody.
The problem is, Glenn, we don't have a proper party. We don't know for sure we have the proper parties in front of us. We could certainly take testimony.
Right, I mean,
but,
I'd like the board to see the pictures, because this is a little bit different scenario.
Let's see if the property owner would be agreeable today to some sort of remediation work. Assuming this is the property owner, perhaps we could receive some sort of affirmation that we can move forward, which would give us something to review when we reconvene on this matter. Can we talk to the property owner? And would you translate the following question? What is your intention with regard to the property?
Bueno, la intención mía es arreglarla inmediatamente. Antes de comprarla, llamé a la ciudad porque quería ver si podía empezar a arreglarla inmediato. Me dieron las pautas de que tenía que pagar un estudio con una compañía para ver si la estructura estaba apta o tenía que hacer reparaciones antes de empezar a hacer roof. Y bueno, eso es lo que estoy mirando, como no he empezado hasta que me llegue el título, porque me dijeron que empieza a trabajar cuando tenga el título en su mano. Que toda esa información la llamé aquí a la ciudad.
Okay, yes. His purchase was because he wanted to structurally renovate the whole area or the whole sound again. And that was his intention, to repair it and make it. And he said he wanted to do everything by the books. He wanted to contact the city to make the purchase, and they said the city wanted to do a structural survey of the building before he would move forward, and he just wanted to follow up with that on purchase.
Ask if you would, have you been to the site?
Sí.
Yes.
So let me show you some photos and I'll share this with the board. Do these photos depict the condition of the site today?
Sí, yo vi lo de la, sí, está todo el techo abajo y lo de la pared que hay que mirar si se puede remozar, arreglar o lo que haya que hacer.
Yes, this does look like a property, and he did look at this front of the building where it's detaching, and he wanted to see if it was structurally able to be repaired.
Sit down
Do you
again.
have any intention to perform any repairs in the next 30 days?
El roof. Bueno, el proceso del roof, pues yo trabajo del roof. Primero hay que traer un ingeniero para que me haga todo lo que es el análisis de las trozas, para mandarlas a hacer. Las trozas toman un tiempo para hacerse, y en base a que lleguen las trozas a la propiedad, inmediatamente traer el personal para hacer el roof. Pero ese es como el protocolo que se tiene que hacer para hacerlo. Lo inicial es empezar a sacar todo lo que está dentro de la propiedad, pero no ha entrado precisamente lo mismo que hasta que no llega la orden nacional no puede entrar a empezar a retirar todo lo que está dañado.
Yeah, he didn't want to go in because he was told that not until the city given the approval to go in and start cleaning up the roof. But he wanted to have the trusses made and everything else, but he wanted to make sure that the building was structurally sound before the city approved before he went in and started working on it. So,
Ask if he's made any efforts since he acquired the property on December 28th to obtain permits.
No, todavía no, porque estoy esperando que me llegue el título, que fue la sugerencia que me hizo la ciudad. Cuando tenga el título, acérquese, y es reciente, acérquese a la ciudad, empezar toda la tramitología para empezar a trabajar.
yeah, he was waiting for the title before he got any permits, and that's what he's been waiting for, the title, so he could go into the steps that he has to do to get the process going.
Bob, I'm wondering whether we could possibly see your thoughts on the matter. If he has purchased the property, he said he still is not under oath, he's going to start the process all over again. So whatever we do here is void.
Right.
But if he hasn't purchased the property, your building official is telling us now he doesn't want to wait.
I'm sorry?
If for some reason he did not purchase the property, your building officials advise this board now that he doesn't want to wait. We shouldn't wait. So you're kind of putting us in a little bit of a bind right now. Maybe we should go forward with the hearing, make a decision. If he purchased the property, fine, and our decision is null and void. If he hasn't, then you've got the authority to go forward and knock the building down. That's just, I'm trying to think of a way to handle this.
Right, that's a good suggestion.
He puts a. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The board could also place a condition on the alleged new owner to provide proof of ownership within so many
Right.
days of this hearing. as
Sure.
well, which would give us direction on which way to proceed.
Does the board understand what the problem is? If he's purchased the property and the title comes out, then they have to go through, the city has to go through the process from the beginning again. So whatever we do is null and void. However, if he did not purchase the property, then we've been told by the building official we can't wait 30 days. So we could possibly hear the case, make a decision one way, and if we make a decision we want it to be demolished, he provides proof that he put the property would negate our decision. However, if for some reason he doesn't have that proof, the city can go ahead and knock the building down. Just I don't know what else to do.
And if we could require the new owner to provide proof of ownership within 5 days, for
Okay.
instance, that would allow us to report back to you as to how we proceed pursuant to your motion.
Usually I would ask you to continue the matter, but building officials now put us in a bind by telling us that there's an immediate problem that we can't just ignore.
Right.
So it's up to the board what they want to do.
I would suggest that we move forward
Yeah.
and seek a additional motion?
I think so.
And approval, requiring the new owner to provide proof of ownership, and if that is provided within, say, 5 days, that the city would be authorized to proceed.
I'd agree with that.
I make a motion to that.
Well, let me
That's
present
good.
the
That'll be
evidence
the case.
first, go through the case.
Okay.
Someone will need to make the motion.
Well, we can make a motion to go forward today. If you want to make a motion, then we go
I'll
forward
make-
today.
Bueno, yo ya salgo de aquí, enseguida el capítulo, pero quiero agradecer que mi intención, sé que llevaba la propiedad mucho tiempo descuidada, que mi intención es trabajarla, recuperarla, o sea, por eso estoy acá, no quiero hacerme cargo, igual para eso la compré, para arreglarla y enseguida ponerla en sus condiciones óptimas, no dejarla tirada.
He's saying his initial purchase was to renovate the building and make it structurally sound again, and that's what he came here today. And his intention was right from day one is to purchase it and make it structurally sound again and make it a great building again. He's saying, so that's what his intention was on the purchase.
Do you have financing available for that?
Yo tenía pensamiento para tener pruebas para tenerlo.
Prueba de que pagué.
Bueno, hay que pagarle.
Ahí está.
Y que si tiene suficiente finanzas para preparar el
Le puedo mostrar ahorita cuando tenga la cuenta, si quiere, ya mismo puedo meter en la cuenta para que vea que...
Yes, he has his own company that does, he says he does structural repairs and stuff, and he can show you his fund, his bank account if you want, but
Yo trabajo.
he does have funds.
Ese es mi trabajo. Entonces tengo mi personal, obviamente me cobra mucho más barato. Yo tengo el personal para eso. Se dedica a la compañía mía a remodelar, renovar y eso.
Yeah, his company is dedicated to buying and purchasing and renovating and rebuilding structural buildings.
Kim just made the call and he confirmed that they did close.
Okay.
So they did close on the deal.
Okay.
Good.
Solves that problem.
Good going. Okay.
Okay, so in that case, perhaps it would still be prudent to reset this for 30 days.
Right.
To see what progress has been made. In the meantime, we can move forward with the condemnation. Maybe we get some agreement from the owner to work with the city in terms of notice and if there's an appeal, having that reset in 30 days.
So we need to make a motion to reset this case in 30 days, or at the next, the February meeting. You said it for the February meeting.
February meeting.
I'll make the
someone has
motion.
to-
I'll move
Move to reconvene this meeting in 30 days.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Your vote on it, please.
Aye.
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 Okay.
You got your wish.
Explain that what we did is we continued the matter for 30 days. And you can work with the city now.
Okay.
Okay?
Would you ask the owner to and stay with them, speak outside now, see if they can work out a plan for rehabilitation? There are no more cases before you, however, I'm told that there may be a speaker in the audience that wishes to address the board.
Yeah.
I think you have it up here, ma'am. What's your name, ma'am? You fill out form. I think she did.
Okay. Would you like to come forward, please, ma'am?
It's separate business. Just so you folks know, we usually have the 2.5 minute clock going. Unless, okay. Come on.
And you're talking about what property?
357 South Seneca Boulevard. I was told I was on the schedule for this morning. Pardon me?
State your name and your address.
Kathleen G. DiVincenzo. My residence is 1631 East Harwood Street, Orlando, Florida, 32803. I'm the owner of 357 South Seneca Boulevard.
357
South Seneca Boulevard.
357 South Atlantic?
Seneca.
Oh, Seneca. Okay.
That was on the December 18th agenda.
Pardon me?
That was originally set for December 18th.
Yes, and
We
I
didn't,
was
we
on
didn't, we
jury
didn't, we didn't
duty.
have a quorum.
and it was extended till today, I was
Right.
told.
Let's find out what happened. Kim?
She was originally scheduled for the November meeting. She asked for a continuance because she had holiday travels for Thanksgiving. We granted that. She was scheduled for the December meeting, but she had jury duty,
Right.
so she was not on that. Since the December meeting, she has taken action on her property and done roof, so we did not schedule her for this meeting because our request all along was, if you make progress, we don't bring you to the board. It's when there is no progress that we schedule you. Since she is making progress, we did not send her a notice of hearing for January. I did not contact her for a January meeting because she is making progress at the property at this time.
It's a good thing.
That's good.
Okay. May I have 2.5 minutes to say what I want to say?
Well,
Is it
the
board?
case is not in front of us today.
Okay, but can I just talk in general?
What, is that okay with you,
Sure,
board?
yeah, okay.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. One thing that you talk about is time. And as the man said, you've let 299 Morningside languish for 10 years. And the property I bought languished for 12 years. So you have to make up your mind, are you going to keep it to a time schedule? Because you make us keep to a time schedule. When I bought the property, it had 2005, a tree went through the roof, and I bought it in 2017, and the house had squatters and drug addicts, and the community complained for 12 years, and nothing was done. When I bought the property, I had no competition because there is too much easy money to be made in Central Florida for investors to deal with Daytona. I have $400,000 worth of property in Daytona. I am selling everything and I'm not coming back. The reason that this young man can't get investors is because people all over the country go, wow, cheap property in Daytona, let's go. And when they get here and they gossip and they talk to people like me, they find out that it's hard to work with people here. I asked for a roofing permit from the day that I bought the house, and I was told, we don't do separate permits. I asked for a garage door permit. We don't do separate permits. When Danny Cecil wanted a garage door to get it off code enforcement, he got his garage door permit. Okay? Danny Garcia, John Cecil, I said, what is the purpose of you people? He said, to take derelict properties and bring them up to code. I said, I do that. You just make it harder. And you're going to think I'm crazy for the next statement, but I'm in all seriousness when I say this. The only person that I have dealt with in the city of Daytona with a shred of decency is Kim. She is smart, she is organized, she is on top of things, and she's a decent human being. And I am recommending that you make her the chief of distressed properties, and you create a public-private partnership like the road builders have, and you send her as a liaison to the investment meetings, and she will bring, you start with him, use him as an example. Take that building, get a building inspector to go to the building and make a reasonable timeline of and cost of repairs to be done on his house, on his property, and then go to an investor meeting and say, we've assessed this distressed property. It's historic. We want to save it. And the city is going to cooperate with you in every possible way to get this building in this neighborhood saved. And you will have investors. If they deal with Kim and they see how hard she works, they will invest in Daytona. And I was going to say something else. When I bought the property, there were $10,000 in fines. My property manager negotiated with the seller to pay those fines. We never even asked the city to reduce the fine. Because you know what? They deserve to pay. Okay, but I could have gotten the property for $10,000 less or a lower amount if I'd have asked the city to waive some of those fees. They got the whole $10,000. They didn't use one penny of that money, even for goodwill, to help me rehab this property. And the city is collecting all these fines. They're not helping him. They're not helping. 299 Morningside. I could save that property, but I won't because it's too hard. There are very few investors who are willing to take distressed properties because there's low-hanging fruit. And the city, people are moving to Florida in droves, and the city of Daytona is not taking advantage of that. I don't understand your logic. I had a property that was worth $60,000, so that's X number of taxes. You want to tear it down and make it a $10,000 property? When I'm in the process of making it a $200,000 property? It doesn't make sense. So please have a paradigm shift in your thinking. The people who own these, now the lady at Morningside and the people who have my property, maybe they deserve to be hit over the head by a 2x4. But people like him and me, we deserve to be given all the help we can give because we are making these properties better. I put a sign out in front of my yard that says, please stop calling code enforcement. It is mean. Why are you punishing the only person who's ever done anything with this property? I can't tell you how many people stopped. And I said, if you want to know what's going on, call me. And I put my phone number. The neighbors stopped by. Now, previously, some of the neighbors had already stopped by and said, you know, we're really glad you're doing something with this property and all that. And like one of them said, paint it. Yeah, one of the first things we did was we painted it and we kept it mowed. I didn't re-landscape it, but we did keep it mowed. I took out 2 dumpsters of yard trash. I took out 3 dumpsters of household goods.
Ma'am, we're not discussing your property. It's not
it's
not on the agenda, and we don't have the ability to discuss a certain item that's not on the agenda.
Okay.
You said you had some general information to give us. That was fine, but we can't be specific.
I want the city of Daytona to be helpful to people like me and not make it so hard. And I just really feel that the general attitude in the city of Daytona and the homeless problem, when they come on my property, they are trespassers, they are lawbreakers. It's not my problem. It's the city of Daytona. And you talk about building a homeless shelter and you talk about a lot of things, do it. Do it yesterday. Settle your homeless problem yesterday. That will go more to approving property values in this city than anything else you can do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. We respect what you said.
Oh, thank you.
Does the board have any questions or any before we close the meeting today? Anything
Any
that I'm
comments?
Appreciate everybody coming today. And
Okay.
Bob, anything you want to say?
No.
Okay. Madam Chairman?
Anyone from the audience want to make any comments? Okay.
I think we're done.
All right, we're dismissed.
Motion to adjourn. We need a
Motion to adjourn. Who's going to make that
I
motion?
move
Go
to
ahead.
adjourn the meeting.
Okay, and vote on
Just
it.
real, go ahead.
All motion carries.
Aye.
Good. Done.